Okay, can we call the meeting to order at 4:01? Can we have a roll call, please?
Kate Ambrose,
Present.
Greg Begg,
Present.
Matt Davis. Not present. David DeGraw,
Here.
Derek Perry,
I'm here.
Krista Trout Edwards,
Here.
Ryan Underhill. We have a quorum, Your Honor.
The next item is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? We get a motion?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passer. The next item is the consent agenda. We have the approval of the March minutes as well as the financial report for March. Do we have any questions or comments about those? Hearing none, is there a motion?
No move.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The next item is public comment. Do we have anyone on the Zoom meeting? It's not a public Zoom meeting. It's not a public Zoom meeting? Okay. So seeing none, we will move to item 8, I guess, as there are no items for 6 or 7. Reports and recommendations and new business. Item 8A, Northeast Neighborhood Improvement Authority proposed budget for fiscal year 26. Is that you, William?
It is.
Awesome.
All right. Revenues are straightforward. It's property tax capture and then about $4,000 for interest. Expenses, other than some small professional services, obviously the large one is the capital outlay for the development out there. It says 2.1 million. Part of that, it says the same amount in this current fiscal year. It's going to overlap years, and I don't know if Marguerite knew where the majority of that was going to be, but the total project is 2.1 million. So it's in there. We're not going to be over budget on that, so we'll still have fund balance at the end. Just explaining why it's in both years. Other than that, there's some bond interest going to be paid this year also of $114,000. Is there any questions about any of the line items? Thought Marguerite was going to be here. I know we kind of talked about the project last time. That's the budget, I guess, yeah.
As far as the bond interest, will that be reoccurring into the future years now?
It will be, and then eventually here we'll start having principal on there as well. So there's 2 bond payments a year. They split it in half between the 2 payments. And then principal, I think this one's actually pushed out a little way, so we got a few years without any principal on there, so we can build up a little funds and those, hopefully with the development have extra capture, pay that off. But I do like where we're at with this project. Obviously, we had a developer that was gung-ho to get started, so we had increased capture immediately. So unlike other TIFAs that have been a little bit slower and drawn out, this one, we should have plenty of money to pay those.
Can you just restate why it's 2.1 million in all 3 years?
It's actually just 2 years. We're showing the original and amended budget there for
I got
the
you.
current fiscal year. Restating it, yes, the project is 2.1 million. There's a little bit of a delay with where the developer was at. I told the project will be completed this calendar year. Obviously, our fiscal year starts July 1st, so some of that's already begun, but the project will be done by the end of December.
End of December.
Yep, according to Marguerite.
Anyone have any other questions? Do we need to do an?
I think it's, you're accepting it, and then you're going to recommend it to council to approve it, unless you have changes you want to recommend.
Is there a motion to accept the report for 8A, the Northeast Neighborhood Improvement Authority proposed budget, and then recommend it to council?
So moved.
Or do we need to take a voice vote for that? Voice vote would be good. You want me to call that?
Oh, you want a roll call vote, not voice vote?
Oh, voice vote, never mind, thank you. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The next item is a B construction update.
Okay. I was hoping that more had changed since our last meeting than it has, but we are rolling on some construction, as of yesterday, so. And some meetings, yes, last week. So there's progress been made, but not a lot of visible progress, on both projects. So we'll start with Forest Street. We. Okay, sorry. As we talked about last week or last meeting, we have sidewalk being installed under the city's contract and pavement being, installed under the city's contract. There's some other, minor grading, and fixes of, cleanup essentially from last fall and some water, like one leaky water service that has to be fixed. So that is the work that's happening on Forest Street this spring. Currently, they're looking to do, the underground water main fixes, water service fixes in the next couple weeks, also getting the sidewalk laid out, and installed in early May, and, do final grading of this private stormwater, infrastructure in early May as well. And then at this point, I'm working on the paving timeline, but would expect to have it complete by early June. Pavement, asphalt plants are not open yet. And we also are working with the contractor on the base course of the existing project, needs to be improved or redone. And so they're working on getting some pricing on what that looks like. Stormwater, we did have, one, issue, I'll say, 2 weeks ago when there was a lot of rain in town this is a picture of a leaching basin that's on private property installed by the developer, and is intended and has been functioning well, to protect the neighboring properties from runoff, but there was a lot of rain that week. And so, we're in the process of looking into further what needs to be done there, if anything, what can be done, to make that fix a little bit, better. Otherwise, the remaining private property stormwater management, systems installed all functioned well. We looked at them last week when we did the kind of, we met with the contractor to discuss the remaining work on the project, and all of that is functioning well. And kept water off of neighboring properties and onto private property, which is where it's supposed to be. The developer, has now finally submitted plans, in the dark blue area for those 4 lots, and we expect to issue permits for their foundations next week. And then the remaining lots, we're still uncertain on what that schedule looks like for the developer's actual, construction. Moving into Valley View, tree clearing, gosh, I can't remember. I think it was just starting, or it was early in the process at our last meeting. And that was completed by the developer. And now our work under the city's contract for infrastructure is underway. They are out there doing topsoil clearing and getting soil erosion measures in place. And that is Parrish Excavating, who's the city's contractor. This is what it looks like today. So they installed riprap gravel buffer between the asphalt and the dirt. That is in an effort to keep dirt on site and not on the city's roads. So the contractor's required to not get dirt all on the city roads. So that's one way they do it. And we'll, continue to monitor that. This is what it looks like from Man Road if you haven't been down there. And then this is as you get up the hill, looking northeast-ish. They're doing, they're stockpiling topsoil here, in the area for future use. And then once they get their topsoil there, they'll start doing all their mass grading for the entire, project. And then this is looking more, due east into the site. So to the right, there's a tree line, and behind that is Michigan Ave, essentially. The grading for this project is being completed by the city's contractor. Mass grading for the entire project by the city's contractor, and Allen Edwin is reimbursing the city for their components of that cost. Sidewalks. No movement on sidewalks in the last month, but we do have a pre-construction meeting planned for tomorrow. So we will have more information on when they plan to do that portion of the work. That will be it's a separate contract with a different contractor. Hoffman Brothers received that contract. The orange there is the scope of work where sidewalk will be installed. Interestingly, we did, we sent out letters, and up on Forest Street, on the south side of Forest, east of Allen, that corner house there is the only one on that side of the street affected by the sidewalk. They have issues with their sewer lateral. So they reached out and said, thank you for letting us know. We're getting our sewer lateral repaired. What's the schedule? We are doing this in the next couple weeks. And we said, yes, continue. We don't know our schedule yet, but it's a great time to get your sewer lateral repaired. On the communication side, we have done some direct communication for residents, specifically on Allen Road. We've put out some digital communication via our website on the Valley View construction starting, and then also a rough plan on Forest Street, this, spring construction kind of we're talking about there. And we have determined a date for neighborhood meetings. I say there's 2 neighborhood meetings planned. They're on the same day, one right after the other. And this is a draft of what the invite might look like. And it's on May 7th at 6 p.m. For Valley View. And then we're also doing the same thing on May 7th at 7 p.m. for Forest Street. And we will meet out there on site. Marcia and I will be there to answer questions related to infrastructure, stormwater, and then also building, with her purview on the building department and understanding of what's happening there. So we hope to have attendees. And that's all I got for construction. Happy to answer questions or field comments.
So after the last meeting, I drove by and I saw the wood chip pile.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do with that? Are you guys is there any use in the city for?
Well, they look like nice wood chips.
They do.
It's part of the contract for the tree clearing company, so they'll do what they do with them.
Whatever use.
They either will keep them or they have them wrapped up into some sort of, they're selling them or they're using them for their own use. They'll recycle them in some way. But they're there still because they had to wait for frost laws to come off before they can haul them where they need to haul them, which have come off. So now we just need to get them back to haul them.
There's a lot there.
I know, it's kind of tempting to like go in and be like, oh, man.
Steal some for your.
mulch. Yeah.
They work well around yards, that's the thing, so.
Yeah, there were some nice hardwoods and some big trees in that, in that area, so I'm sure it's some decent mulch.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next item is public comment. No public here, we can move on to board reports. Any board comments?
I have nothing.
Any breaking news? All right. Last item is adjournment. Motion. So moved. So moved. All in favor? Let's give a second. Aye. All right. The quickest meeting in history.